the New England Patriots are 9-2.
I mean, that's
and what they have done is truly remarkable. What they have done now, as we are sitting here one game into Week 11, we are sitting here waiting for the rest of Week 11 to play out. And what the New England Patriots have already done is assure themselves of a winning season. And there's no chance this team that has won 8 games in a row is going to lose 7 in a row and just barely sneak in as an above 500 team.
You never know.
This team is really, really, really good. And I might be leaving out a really, because they are quarterbacked by a wonderkind who is being coached up by a Coach of the Year candidate and a former NFL head coach who may be one of the best offensive coordinators of the century, and Josh McDaniels. And then the front office did such a great job of drafting the last couple of years, from Drake Maye's first draft, the 3rd overall pick of 2 years ago, and then this year winding up with a left tackle out of LSU, Will Campbell, to anchor that line. And then let's get him a bunch of fast receivers that we can coach up as well. And let's get him the weapons that he needs. Let's get him, Drake Maye, situated. And let's get the situation prior to the game in the facility, in the meeting rooms, calmed down with some guys who have done it before, been there and done that. They tried it with Gerard Mayo as a former player, first-time head coach. Now they've done it with a former player, previous coach of the year in the league. And then let's get him somebody like Stefon Diggs. And let's get him a veteran with a chip on his shoulder and a lot to prove. Let's get that guy. And let's bring them all together, and let's see how it works. And then it started off with a 1-2 record, and they have not lost since that Week 3 L. Since that Week 3 L at home against Pittsburgh, which they should have won.
Yep.
But there were too many fumbles by a guy who, after all of the fumbles, like Ramondre Stevenson in that game, he wasn't the only one. But what ended up happening is, let's keep using him. And let's make sure he is an important part of this team. Then he gets hurt, and then Trevion Henderson from Ohio State, the Ohio State, all he does is start scoring touchdowns. And defensively, they're stopping everyone else while Trevion has 2 on the ground and 1 in the air. Listen, I don't care that the Jets are a 2-win team. You throw the records out, the Jets scored first, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, I got me a text from my boy Coop, who is the diehard Patriot fan of the household, saying, Dad, they can't play defense in these uniforms.
Can't play defense on the opening drive. That's the 6th touchdown they've given up on the opening drive.
Wait a second. Coop sweating after half of one series?
Of course. But he also hasn't seen a team like this, ever. Honestly, I mean, the 2019 team was 10-1. But he was also a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old.
Okay.
He was focused on it, but even that team, when they were winning with Brady, it seemed to have flaws that we all know a well-coached team could expose. And the team that ended their season in a one-and-done, ended the Brady era in New England, winning in Foxborough, was coached by Mike Vrabel. The Tennessee Titans ended it. This one doesn't seem to have too many flaws, other than the fact that they haven't done it yet. Other than the fact that they have a kid overperforming based on what's expected of a second-year player. And seeing somebody like Caleb Williams, where it's just like, wow, he's pulling it out in the 4th quarter, but he's missing this, he's missing that. It just seems to be up and it's down. And that's a first overall quarterback drafted 2 spots before this kid. But that's what you do is what Ben Johnson's attempting to do. Calm the waters before the game in the meeting rooms, get some weapons around, which is what Ryan Poles is trying to do there in Chicago. And Stefon Diggs, man, 11 targets, 9 catches, 105 yards. No touchdowns, but it doesn't matter when Trevion Henderson's scoring them all. Drake Maye had this to say after the game about Stefon Diggs.
That trust was built up, probably when I was in middle school when he was playing in the league. It was long ago. Guys like him and Hunter and Mac, you trust those guys for what they've done in this league. And I just try to give them chances. And, Steph, and, you break a couple tackles, get in the end zone. But, those guys were great for us tonight.
If I played that soundbite for you last year at this time, Chris, you'd think Hunter would be Travis, right? Instead of Henry, the tight end. But it's all working out. Again, that Will Campbell's protecting, and the run game is stout, and this kid just sits back there feeling confident. Mac Hollins being another guy that they hired. Stefon Diggs, put it up. Look at these numbers. It's his 15th career 100-yard receiving game in prime time in terms of NFL history. That's tied with Moss, Devontae, and Travis Kelce.
Wow.
Only 2 behind Jerry Rice. That's what you do for your kid, is you get a guy under the lights who's there for you.
I imagine he'll get a few more chances next year when the Patriots play half their games in prime time.
Well, Chris, it's just awesome that your role just will not get slowed despite the fact that humility might be called into the equation. At least we'll have your coach do that for you. There is another game under the lights coming up shortly. I imagine that Monday night game might not. I don't know if they'll flex out of it, which they can do, but I think time's running short on that. There's the G-Men on a Monday night, and who knows what they might flex into otherwise. I don't know what's coming up. And then there's a bye at Cincinnati's next. Interesting with a coach moving on to Cincinnati, and it's a totally different story. It's because Drake Maye has MVP credentials. Go ahead and hit it.
Drake, how's it feel to get those MVP chants and just have people recognize the way you're playing right now?
Yeah, it was maybe for Travion tonight. He scored 3 touchdowns. So, I think it's, our friends have, been great with, me since I got here, since I got drafted. And I think just appreciate them for, embracing me, just trying to embrace this city and, give these fans and this team and, just myself, just leave it all out there and give them everything I got.
I love his humility. It's just like maybe it's Travion Henderson. No, it's you, young man. It is you. It seems like every week after the Patriots win, we have this sort of stuff to show you another metric as to why he's the MVP of the league and why he's going to win it. Check it out. In terms of most consecutive games in a season with a passer rating of 80 or better in a win, he's now tied Lamar's MVP, first MVP season of 2019 with 8 of those in a row. He's 2 behind Dan Marino's MVP season of 1984 to get a win with a passer rating of 80 or better. He's awesome. And the fans there in New England. Coop's got his Pat the Patriot style Drake Maye jersey. The 10 jerseys are everywhere right now, and it's not Mac Jones. There was even a guy during the Prime Video post-game show who was a security guard, pulled open his slicker, and there was his 10 underneath it as well. I could see it behind them. They're just out of their skull. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app, 12 to 3 Eastern.